So today we continue. We're almost done, actually. We have two more to go. Second to the last. We continue our astrology and tarot, where we learn a little bit about astrology and throw it into some tarot cards and see what happens. So we have the Universal Rider-Waite. We have the This Might Hurt Tarot. And we have Chiro's Tarot of Dreams. So here we go with astrology and tarot. Two of Swords, we're starting out with Libra today, as you can see with this. So Libra is sort of the balancing personality, right? Doesn't like conflict too much, likes to get some peace, some balance, and things like that. Maybe a little too much of this or too much of that is not really that good, so they sort of fall back into the balancing act. So great socially, very committed in relationships as well. So just basically an all-around just great sign, right? It's going to be a great employee. It's going to be a great spouse because they're going to have that committal. They're going to work things out. They're going to make sure everything happens and things like that. So you get into an argument, they're going to be sort of the mediator as well, and they do have the nice work-life balance as well if they can score it, right? Libra is just a great sign. We have Moon inside of Libra. Moon, intuition, emotions, sort of moving into that, as well as, the fastest moving item we have out there. So the Moon moves quickly, and we have that within Libra. So we have that emotional charge, or that emotional movement and stability within the Libra sign. So we have that here. You see the Moon sort of reflected, obviously, not only up here, but also in the water, the water behind the person. But the person is blindfolded. The woman is blindfolded, and the woman has the two swords. So the two, sort of that balancing act again. We're back at the balancing act, and we're back at that emotionally charged thing. Maybe we don't want to see it, or maybe we need to close our eyes and sort of ignore a lot of outside stimulation or outside stimuli in order to get in focus again with our intuition and focus again with our emotions with the Moon, right? A lot of times we're just really busy and a lot of things are going on, and we need that focus time. We need to just block out a lot of noise or block out a lot of things that are otherwise going to be distracting us in order to get that emotional stability, in order to get that emotional feel. And we have a lot within here, within the Moon, not only obviously within the card, but sort of, blocking everything out and getting the emotional getting that emotional intuition going, or getting that feel going, and getting in touch maybe with ourselves, right? A lot of Libra is interacting with other people, sort of balancing this and that, and, just being the negotiator, being the socialite and things like that. Maybe not as much as, let's say, Gemini, but Libra is a great sign, and a lot of times we need to sort of block some of that out to maintain our stability, or to maintain the in-touch feeling with ourselves. And that's going to be a big thing with this particular card. So we do have the Two of Swords and Moon within Libra. And then as we come to the Three of Swords, obviously the Universal Heartbreak card, right? So we have Saturn within Libra. A lot of times Saturn, remember, Saturn separates, Venus brings together. So Saturn has separated the Libra, separated a lot of different aspects of the Libra. Maybe we have an emotional separation between what we enjoy, what we don't enjoy type thing. We just get this emotional separation between that. Everything is not in balance as per this, right? And everything has sort of gone out of balance, and then we have that heartbreak, or everything has gone awry, things aren't going the way we planned. Libra is willing to put the work in and, put the hard work in, get everything set up and get everything nice and all that other stuff, and a lot of times it just doesn't work out, right? Relationships sometimes are complex, and sometimes you really can't balance it, or sometimes it's very difficult to maintain that type of balance and that type of stability, because sometimes everything just goes awry. So that is within the heartbreak, or that is within the Three here, right? We have the tears, sort of the, obviously the heartbreak, everything went terrible, and the Three Swords piercing the heart, and sort of the even more dramatic over here with the This Might Hurt Tarot indeed, So a lot of times we have to recover from that, or we have to sort of start over in many respects after, again, Saturn separates and Venus brings together. Saturn has separated the balance that we once had, and we're stuck with the heartbreak. We're stuck with that imbalance. We have to sort of start over in many respects. A lot of times that's what happens when the relationship goes to crap. We have to sort of start over. We have to pick up the pieces. We have to go through that recovery process and move on. And a lot of times that's really difficult because our life was very focused, especially within Libra being the pretty good with the family or pretty good with the committed relationships. A lot of times, a lot of your life is dumped into that relationship. And now that it's gone, you have to sort of find yourself again, or find your hobbies again, or find who you are within the context of all of this stuff again. And a lot of times that's difficult. So that separation that we have of Saturn sort of sneaking in here has caused a lot of grief and disorganization in what was a stable situation. And that is the Three of Swords. And next we have the Four of Swords, the Rest card, right? We need a bit of rest, we need a bit of relaxation, and what we have here is a situation where Jupiter, remember Jupiter expands, so Venus brings together, Saturn separates, and Jupiter expands, Jupiter makes bigger. And so Jupiter has come into Libra, and Jupiter has made quite a mess, quite a situation where a lot of things are going on. We have the typical Libra traits, but it's much expanded, it's greatly expanded. And maybe we're looking at a bit of a, burnout or a bit too much. So this is the too much card. This is where everything is a bit too much. We're a little bit overboard and we need a rest. We need a break. We need some relaxation time, right? Some time with ourselves. And similar to the two, we need some of that relaxation. And somebody has found a motorcycle outside. So we need that relaxation and we need that reset. And a lot of times we need that because we do a lot of stuff as a Libra, right? We have the family commitment. We have the work commitment. We have a lot of things going on and a lot of different types of things going on. And in addition, we have, a lot of stability that we need to maintain, and just maybe it's too much. And then as Jupiter gets here and expands the situation, it just becomes too much. And we need to sort of retreat a little and get back within a lot of that stability that we didn't have before. And that's going to be very important with Libra as well, right? Is to get back to that stability, to get back there. But we need a break, we need a rest, and this is the Four of Swords. It's time to take that rest. It's time to relax, time to maybe find ourselves again and sort of just reset overall. Just hit the reset button on how everything is going. So, and that is the Four of Swords. And like everything else that we have with the cards, every time I say this, we're going into the court cards. And this is the original court card schema that we were using in the first place. So that's going to be, important here. So not everyone agrees on all the court cards, but this particular one, we have a pretty much stable system that we're going for that we established at the first. So we're in the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is sort of that combined Libra, right? It's that combined Libra. We have a lot of different things going on within the throne. We have the children going on within the throne. We have the butterfly, sort of that peace, right? So Libra has brought around the peace and all this stuff. We have the clouds and we have the greenery. And we just have this nice, beautiful clouds within the robe, or sort of the sash, or whatever that is as well. So we have a lot of that stability. We have a lot of that cloud, that ethereal type feel within this card, as well as, again, the stability of the throne, reaching out the hand in an offer of peace while holding the sword within the other. So, that dichotomy between peace and, conflict. Maybe there's a bit of a conflict needed. Maybe there's a bit of a peace offering within that. Maybe we can just stop the conflict and move on with our lives type thing. So the Queen of Swords represents the entire Libra experience, and this is a pretty stable card. This is going to be a pleasant person to deal with. This is going to be a nice person to talk to and to get to know, and they're going to have a lot of friends and things like that. So sort of this summation of the Libra sign within this particular card and within the Queen of Swords. Just a great card overall. It's going to have a great personality to it. If you get this within a reading, you're going to think, obviously, of Libra and just sort of move on with that. And that's going to be important a lot of times because you could be looking at some stability coming around, right? Somebody's in a stressful situation. They need some of that stability, and maybe we have some of that stability rolling around soon, as indicated by the Queen of Swords. So that is the Queen of Swords. And speaking of awesome, I have Patreon supporters who support me and help me pay for the editing software, for some of the card stuff, for a lot of the different things that I have to do around here, and I greatly appreciate them so much. I love every one of them. They are Alley Cat, Annie Lemaster, Astro Corey, Brianna Santiago, Carmen Capriano, Carolyn Bouchard, Crystal McGinn, Fatima, Galatia 9, Gary Fink, Irina, Jessica Mante, Kim Wilson, KSW, La Ami, Richard Zeh, Shintaro Kuga, and Sanai Zamora. Thank you so much for being my supporter. If you would like to join them and throw a couple of bucks my way, link in the description. Thank you so much for watching. We have one more video in this series, and then we'll move on to another series. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate you hanging out with me and seeing all the cards and all the cool stuff around here. And we will see you in the next video.